baby.
Every time I try to leave, something keeps pulling me back, telling me I need you in my life. Every time I try to call, something keeps pulling me back.
Bless you. Hi, bestie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Digeledi, and if you're new here, please do subscribe, comment, like, and share. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for tuning in once again. I really appreciate it. Please do continue doing that for me and my new baby. So as you guys may have seen from today's title of the video, we have a very juicy story time about my pregnancy, labor, and birth story. So without further ado, let us get right into it. Okay, first disclaimer, you guys may be hearing sounds from the baby. She's right here watching me. But we're just gonna get into the part where I actually find out that I am pregnant. Okay, 28 Jan 2024. It is a Sunday morning. I'm preparing to get to church. My boyfriend and I are getting ready for church, and he pulls out a pregnancy test, like, can you take this for me? And I'm like, oh, okay. So I take the pregnancy test. It comes out positive. I give it to him quietly, so, and I sit on the bed like, I'm pregnant. He's like, oh yeah, I can see that. And we actually put the conversation on hold until after church. So we quickly get to church and our day goes on just fine. After church, we head to the mall. We actually have a conversation about this, that I'm pregnant and what are we going to do about it? I mean, you know. And so we decide that in the following week, I'm going to head to the clinic just to get a confirmation. So then I head over to the clinic the following week. I get there, get my pregnancy test done. Hi, baby. I get the pregnancy test done, comes out positive, and then I was immediately booked in for my ANC first appointment. But we'll get to that in the second segment. Cool. I found out I'm pregnant, and to be honest, I felt really numb. I wasn't happy, I wasn't sad. I wasn't even scared at that moment. I think it was the reaction to the news I was shocked. It was just shock. I didn't cry, I was just shocked. So I felt very, very, very numb. I couldn't do anything about it. So after the confirmation at the clinic, now it's obviously time to tell someone about it. It's just me and my boyfriend that know. My family doesn't know, his family doesn't know, no one knows. So now it's time to tell someone about it. And the first person I told was my sister. So immediately after getting back from the clinic, I call her and I tell her that I am pregnant and I'm at the clinic. I just got the confirmation that I'm pregnant, and she asked me, what am I going to do about it? And I'm like, I'm obviously keeping the baby, and I don't know. I obviously do not know anything about parenthood, motherhood, pregnancy. So I needed the support, which she gave to me 100%. So on that very same day, I get home and we sit down and discuss obviously what to expect, literally everything, preparing me for the journey of pregnancy, right? So at this point, it's just me and my sister in the family that know about my pregnancy. And we actually decided to keep it that way for a very long time. She found out at around Feb, and at the time I was 2 months pregnant because I fell pregnant in December, and in February I was 2 months. So that was that. And at that point I felt it hadn't really synced in that I am pregnant. I was still, I think in late Feb, I was still going to my classes. I started attending classes at the campus, and life was pretty normal. Life was pretty normal. Except for the symptoms, which I will explain at a later segment of the video. So life was pretty normal in February until it was time for everyone else to know about my pregnancy. So around March, I send a text to my aunt and I tell her that I'm pregnant and I need her to break the news to the rest of my family because I couldn't do it by myself. Like I was scared. I was scared. Even though it hadn't really sinked in, but it was the reality. Like, I mean, I'm pregnant and there's nothing I could do about it because I have decided to keep the baby. So I text my aunt and I ask her to tell the rest of the family to break the news to them. So around April, my sister, my oldest sister, looks at me and she's like, "Why are your breasts getting so big?" And I remember that time my response was, it's probably because I'm on my period. And I was obviously lying because I hadn't gone on my period since November 2023. So I was lying. I was lying. Because at that point, like, I couldn't just tell her. She's my oldest sister and I was scared. I was scared. So then after about a week, my aunt broke the news to my sister and that's how my sister found out. And now I had placed the responsibility, not necessarily placed the responsibility, but I asked everyone that knew about my pregnancy to break the news to my mom and dad. And how it happened with my mom, I wasn't home I was home, but I had literally just gotten out to take a walk. So I had decided to go outside and I had told my sister already that as soon as I leave the house, please let her know. And then I'll just come back and deal with it when I get back. I wasn't even gone for long. I went out for like 10, 15 minutes. I got back and my mom was shocked. My mom was, oh, I don't even know how to explain. I don't even have the right word to explain what I saw in my mom. But then after a while, we sat down. She asked me, "How far along are you in your pregnancy?" And at that point, I think it was approaching about 5 months. So she found out very late. And that's not because I was trying to hide it forever, but that's also because my body wasn't showing, except for my breasts. My body wasn't showing. Like, I still had my very petite body. And at 5 months, I still wasn't showing that I was pregnant. So that's why my mom found out and she was like, "Okay, so that means you're gonna give birth pretty soon." And yeah, that was that. And the reaction from everyone was, well, let me start here. So after finding out I was pregnant, I had to mentally prepare myself for whatever reaction I was going to get from my family. People were mad. I wasn't being spoken to. I was ignored for a few weeks. But I didn't, bless you. Oh, bless you, baby. But I didn't take it in a bad way, to be honest. I had mentally prepared myself for any reaction that I was going to get because I knew, I mean, come on, I had low-key expected that. So I had to mentally prepare myself for whatever reaction that I was going to get from my family. But towards the 6th month, by June, everyone was fine. I was getting 100% of everyone's support. Everyone was supporting me. Everyone was making sure I was okay. I was taking my medication. I was taking my prenatal vitamins. Everyone was making sure that I was eating healthy, my body, my weight, everything. Everyone was making sure that I was fine. And that was that. I want to get into the part where I explain how the 3 trimesters went, because that's a story. Okay, so now I'm getting into how my first trimester went, and that was from January until the end of March. For me, that was the most terrible part of my pregnancy. I mean, the first trimester was the hardest part of my pregnancy. Was it? But it was really terrible. It was the most terrible part of my pregnancy. I don't want to lie, because I fell sick very often. And at that time, not a lot of people knew I was pregnant. My mom didn't know I was pregnant. My sister didn't know I was pregnant. My oldest sister, rather, didn't know I was pregnant. So I was going through most of these symptoms alone. I was vomiting a lot. I was having reactions to the smell of food. I was always feeling dizzy. I used to take very cold showers at that time, because if I take a warm shower, no matter how lukewarm even, it would make me very, very, very dizzy, and I feel like I'm going to faint. And that would happen like every other day, if not every day, literally. So I had to change the food I was eating. I had to obviously adjust to showering with cold water every day. The smell of food, sometimes my sister would be cooking, and obviously at that point she didn't know that I was pregnant, and I'm having like a very terrible time with the smell of food, and I was always sleeping. My complexion, was, yeah, it started, I was getting very, very, very light. I was pale at that point. I don't know if I can get a picture. I'll try to put it here. But my complexion, I was very light at that point. I mean, I'm light, not like light, but like I was very light at that point. And I remember a friend of my sister asked me, "What's happening with your face?" And I'm like, "No, got bleach, huh?" But that was because like I couldn't, I was in that space. Oh, okay. And then first trimester was terrible. And when I went for my very first antenatal care appointment at the clinic, I remember explaining to the nurse at the clinic that I was scared. I was scared because I'm only 21. I don't know nothing about being a parent. I don't know anything. So I needed the guidance. And I don't want to lie, the nurses there were very helpful. Till today, even after giving birth, the nurses were very helpful. They guided me. They were telling me like what to eat, what to stay away from, what to do, even when like just sitting in the house, just to improve my health, my well-being, even mentally. So that was the first trimester. Terrible. But with the help of the nurses, obviously at the clinic, it was manageable. Fast forward, second trimester, and this lasted from April until July. April until June, basically. So from April until June, end of June, that was my second trimester, and it was honestly the best trimester between the three, because that's when I regained my appetite, I regained my energy. I never used to sleep a lot. I had a lot of energy. I would cook and clean. I want nobody to do anything. I'll do everything. And at that point, obviously, my family already knew about my pregnancy. So sometimes it would get, a bit tense, because it would seem like I'm overworking myself due to maybe stress or whatever. But it was just, I think, the hormones not regaining the balance, but I was really better from what I was in the first trimester. I had more energy. My appetite I had a huge appetite. I was doing well, even emotionally. I was doing very, very well. And then there wasn't much in the second trimester, honestly. There wasn't really much going on. It was just a lot of energy, regained my appetite. And that was that, yeah. Fast forward to third trimester, which was from July until the day I gave birth. So, so that was from July until the day I gave birth. And to be honest, I think that was around the time I stopped vlogging as well, because my belly was starting to show. And I wasn't ready to give out the announcement of my pregnancy on social media yet, on YouTube rather. So that's when I stopped vlogging, and that's when it got real. It got real that I was really pregnant, because I couldn't bend. I always had back pains. Guys, back pains are a real thing in pregnancy. I thought people were exaggerating. No, back pains are a real thing. Headaches are a real thing in the third trimester. I could feel double the weight of my body, because I was also carrying the weight of my bump. So that was really hard. Hey, I couldn't put on my socks. Not because my feet were never swollen, but it was just I couldn't reach to my foot, because, yeah, if I could put it that way, because my bump wasn't like big, but I think for the size of my body, there was just a, it was really, there was, yeah, an issue with the balance. I used to have terrible back pains. I used to have terrible headaches. What else? I had a problem in my third trimester. I lost weight. And when I went to the clinic, I was told my baby is not developing well. So I had to eat, because apparently she was too short. What is it called? I think it's called the SFH, something. Let me not butcher it. But it was something to do with the height of the baby. So she wasn't growing well. So apparently I had to eat a lot in order to gain weight and give her the space to grow. Something like that, basically. So I did that, and I was fighting to gain weight. When I tell you I was in a battle. But yeah, I gained weight and the baby was fine in July. August was pretty much proper. It was just okay. I could feel the pressure. I could feel the pressure of being a pregnant lady. And in August, that's when I experienced effacement. That's when the baby starts turning head down, and that was the most painful part. No, I'm lying. It wasn't the most painful part, because we're still getting to labor and birth. But it was really uncomfortable. It felt like my lower abdomen, English, my lower abdomen was going through it. I was going through it, because I don't even know how to explain this pain and pressure I was feeling. I thought I was going to give birth in the house. I remember it was on a Sunday, the 17th of August or July. I don't really remember, but it was the 17th of something, and it was a Sunday. I called my mom. I'm like, Ma, I'm having this terrible pain. And she was like, are you feeling any pressure to do the number 2? And I'm like, yeah, a little bit. And then she was like, girl, don't tell me you're about to give birth in that house. Okay, that was not it. Luckily, it was not labor. But it was something called effacement, when the baby's head starts to engage into your lower abdomen to get ready for birth. That was in August. So August passed by, and then it was September. September was, well, I didn't last the whole of September. I only lasted 13 days. But September was, yeah, it was real, because I started having contractions. Not labor contractions, but I was having, what are they called again? Braxton Hicks. I was having Braxton Hicks contractions. So these happen when basically the lining of your uterus starts to, not to thicken, but to harden. So even to the touch, feel that the stomach was very, very hard. The belly was very hard. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but to the touch, when you touch the bump, it feels very, very hard. So those were called Braxton Hicks contractions. I had those almost every day. Maybe, bless you, baby. I had those about maybe every 30 to 45 minutes, maybe 30 to an hour. I had those, yeah. And they'd last typically for about 30 seconds, maybe. Yeah. So I had a lot of those in September. My most memorable moments of September was from the 10th to the 13th. Because on the 10th, I just passed by my boyfriend's place, went there to go see him for a while, and then that is when my labor started. And it was low-key traumatic. I don't want to lie. It was low-key traumatic. So 10 September, Tuesday, around 1 p.m., midday, 1 p.m. maybe, I'm sitting in the house with my boyfriend and we're sitting proper. Guys, I felt a gush of water leave my body. And I wasn't really sure because with the hormones during pregnancy, I got a lot of discharge. I don't know if it's TMI, but I got a lot of discharge. And on that day, I had felt the gush of water leave my body. Wasn't like a lot, but it was a lot more than usual. So I knew that I was very close, less than a week away from my due date. But I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how I felt really when I felt that gush of water leave my body. So I stood up, went to the toilet, checked myself out. I could feel my underwear was a bit wet. And when I got back, I told my boyfriend, like, okay, I need to get home. He's like, why, are you okay? I'm like, I'm okay. When I got home, guys, I started having contractions. They were not bad, but they were not like slight. So I started having contractions. I didn't really take that too seriously. I thought maybe if I rush to the hospital, they're going to take me back because it's not my due date yet. So that was the 10th of September. My expected date of delivery was the 14th of September. So I was 4 days away from my expected date of delivery. So on the 10th, I went back home, started having these contractions the entire night. Wake up Wednesday morning, the 11th, and I wasn't okay at all. I wasn't okay. So I packed my baby's bag. My baby's hospital bag was ready. I just had to pack a few of my stuff, my toiletries, my pajamas, and all of that. I did that during the day, and then around 6 p.m., I went to the hospital. So when I got, not the hospital, the health center, I got to the health center. I explained my problem to them. I told them that the previous day I had felt a little gush of water leave my body. And that nurse was like, what? And I'm like, yesterday I felt a little gush of water leave my body. And she's like, why are you only coming today? Why are you only coming today? And now I'm like, good question. I don't know. And then cool, they checked me out, and then she referred me as an emergency case. That was because of something they refer to as a PROM, which is a prolonged rupture of membrane, meaning it's been over 24 hours since my waters started breaking. Well, they weren't broken, but my amniotic fluid was leaking. It was leaking, and then what she told me was, you've been in active labor for the past 24 hours and you're only coming now. What is your problem? And I'm like, it didn't feel that bad, girl. Like, I don't even know. And then she's like, okay, I'm gonna call an ambulance for you. Just go lay down. If you feel the contractions coming, just get up, take a walk around the ward, and I'm gonna put you on a antibiotic drip. So cool, they put me on an antibiotic drip. I slept. No, they offered me food. I ate, and then they gave me these other medications. I took the medication. I went to sleep. At around 2 a.m., the ambulance was called for me to be transferred to the district hospital. And that was obviously 2 a.m. on Thursday. The ambulance was called. It arrived, guys, the ambulance arrived at 9 a.m. And I was having real contractions at that time. I don't want to lie. Then I was, oh, guys. And when they called the ambulance around 2 a.m., I remember I had just gotten up, because one thing about labor contractions, guys, they will wake you up. They don't care if you're sleeping. Oh, well, in my case, even if I was sleeping, when the contractions come, they would wake me up. So around 2:45, I got woken up by these contractions. The pain's terrible, terrible, terrible. And the nurse came up to my bed, and then she said, I just called the ambulance for you. I'll let you know when it gets here. And then I'm like, okay, cool. And at around 3 a.m., my stomach started, I had a very runny stomach. So at that time, I wake up, I go to the toilet. My stomach was really runny. And when I got back to my bed, the nurse was there, and then she asked me, what's wrong? Like, I have a very runny tummy. And then she's like, okay, now that's real labor. It's starting now. You're gonna give birth probably tomorrow. She means on it was now the 13th. It was Thursday, the 12th, at around 3 a.m. That's when I felt sick. Not sick, but like that's when I had a runny tummy. Then she was like, now that's labor. That's real, true. It's called true labor. That's when true labor begins, rather. So cool. I was in true labor. Now I have this drip with me. I have to walk around with this thing everywhere, and I'm having pains, and now I'm being told to walk around the ward with this thing. It was So then that's what I did. I walked around. I don't even remember where I stopped, but like, yeah, at around 3:30, I walked around the ward because I was having terrible contractions, and I went to sleep. And the last thing I remember from that day, Thursday, was when they woke me up and told me that the ambulance is here to get me, to transfer me to the district hospital. Cool. At exactly 9 a.m., I got into the ambulance on Thursday the 12th. I got into the ambulance and I was transferred to the district hospital. I remember having the most terrible contractions of my life, and that is because on our way to the district hospital, there were a lot of humps at the road. So it was, I'm telling you, girl, it was terrible. It was terrible. Cool. And then we got to the district hospital. We got there. They put me on a wheelchair. The ambulance guy pushed me to the labor ward. I got there and the service was proper. I got there at around 9:30 at the hospital. Got there, got my bed, got everything that I needed. And at that point, guys, at the health center, which I was at before being transferred to the district hospital, family is generally not allowed. So they can only come to drop off stuff for you and then leave. They can't stay for a long time because it's not a hospital, it's just a health center. So the only time I saw my family for real was on Thursday. My labor started on Tuesday. I only got to see my mother on Thursday. Ooh, guys, it was terrible. Do not recommend. Anywho, so on Thursday I got my bed at the hospital, and guys, the first person that came over to check me out was the doctor. And the doctor does this thing called a dilation check, right? Ooh. I got my dilation check, my first dilation check, at around 10 a.m. on Thursday. I think I'm gonna have to touch your hand when I say this. I felt like that's what the doctor was trying to tell me. When I say you're not special, I meant that. Ooh, guys, dilation check is the most uncomfortable thing ever. It's the most uncomfortable thing ever because that doctor will shove his fingers up your you-know-what. And at that point, I was 1 centimeter dilated. But the contractions I was having, ooh, I was about to die. Anyway, I was 1 centimeter dilated at around 10 a.m. Thursday, the 12th of September. And I was having terrible contractions. But at 1 centimeter dilated, there's nothing you can do. Even with those contractions, there's nothing you can do. Just sleep and wake up. Sleep and wake up. Sleep and wait for the contractions to wake you up. And then sleep and then wait for them to wake you up again. So then it was 10, and then it was around 2 p.m. Around 2 p.m. on Thursday, the security there called me at the door of the labor ward. She called my name, and then I was like, yeah, and then she's like, your mom's here to see you. So my mom was there with my sister and my sister-in-law. So they were there to see me, and they were asking me, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm fine, girls. Like, I'm trying to be strong. Like, there's nothing I can do. And my sister was like, for as long as you can speak with your mouth, you haven't gotten the real deal, guys. I was going through it. I just didn't wanna, because here's the thing, my mom is a very emotional being. So if you start crying in front of her and now it's all ish, I was just being strong for my mom and for myself, but mostly for my mom. So then they got me flowers and fruits and all of that. So, and then she was like, so are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. But deep down, I'm not okay because I'm having these terrible contractions. Like, girl, just want this baby out of me. But like, yeah, my mom came, and I think that was the highlight of my hospital stay. I mean, like, I really needed that. Yeah, I needed to see my family because I was going through it, girl. Like, I was ready to give up. So then that was Thursday. And at that point, I was still 1 centimeter dilated. It's been 4 hours. Okay, girl. So then when my mom gets home at around 5, 6-ish, she calls me. She's like, how are you? I'm like, I'm okay. The doctor came. The doctor had come for a dilation check again at 4 p.m. And I was still, she said, 1 to 2 centimeters dilated. And I was having terrible contractions. So then I went back to sleep. At 8 p.m. we had dinner. Was it 8 p.m.? Yeah, at around 8 p.m. we had dinner, and then the doctor comes again to get a dilation check and to get that, to get a dilation check at 8 p.m. I was still 1 to 2 centimeters dilated. So I call my mom. I'm like, Ma, Kanti, how does this thing work? I've been on 1 to 2 centimeters since 10 a.m. since I got here. Really, like, what's going on? Like, can someone explain this to me? I don't know what's happening. So then, my baby's sleeping. Oh, okay. So then, let me quickly just do this. Yeah. So then, at around 10 p.m., my mom called again. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, Ma, I am not okay. I am dying. I'm done. I'm done. I don't know what to tell you. I'm in terrible pain. I'm trying to take a walk. They've been saying, you must walk around the ward when you feel the labor contractions come. I'm trying to take a walk. I have this drip and the drip was kept on finishing so fast. And when it finishes, they now have to inject you again. Like, what do you mean? I was being injected like I don't know how many times, girl. Now this was day 3 of labor, of active and true labor. This was day 3 of active and true labor, Thursday, and now it's at night. So now at 12 midnight, I get a call from my mom. She's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm not okay at all. I am terrible. I'm in so much pain. The nurses keep telling me to walk around the ward, but every time I try to walk, it's like a balloon is gonna pop down my you know what. Like, I'm done. Thank you. Take me out of this." Cool. And then the doctor came at around 12:15. Yeah, at around midnight. The doctor came to do a dilation check and the screening of the baby's heartbeat, which is the most terrible thing after dilation check, the most terrible thing you'll ever experience in your pregnancy. Getting the baby's heartbeat at the hospital. They wrap these other 2 belts that feel like an electric fence in your tummy. If you see me again. No, I'm joking, but like, you get what I mean. I'm traumatized. So then, after the dilation check, I asked the doctor, I'm like, and this time the doctor was a male, this other Nigerian man. Oh, he comes and he was rough. Not like rough, but he was there to do his job. That's all I'm gonna say. He was there to do his job. And then he comes and gets a dilation check. Guys, dilation check is not nice. It's not nice. Ooh, that thing is not nice. Please. So I asked him, I'm like, "So doc, how far along am I in terms of dilation?" He's like, "You're still 1 to 2 centimeters." I'm like, from 10 a.m. It's now midnight. How many hours has it been? 12, 14? 14 hours. Like, I've been on 1 centimeter for 14 hours. And then he's like, yeah, and that's very unusual. I might have to take you for, I'm either gonna induce your labor or we're gonna take you for a C-section. And immediately after he left, I called my mom. I'm like, "Ma, what? Can you listen to what this doctor's saying to me?" And then my mom started praying now. She started, guys, that woman's prayers saved me. Shout out to you, ma. Guys, and then I went to sleep. I woke up at around 3 a.m. Obviously woken up by labor contractions, and this time they were terrible. They were bad. And in our ward, there are 4 beds. So it's me and 3 other ladies. At that time, the ladies are sleeping. I'm having terrible contractions. I'm trying not to scream my lungs out because these poor ladies are sleeping. And when they get woken up by their own contractions, I wouldn't also appreciate it if they screamed their lungs out while I was sleeping. Oh, guys. So then at 3 a.m., the doctor comes back and he does a dilation check again. And I'm still on 1 to 2 centimeters dilated. I'm like, I'm so over this. I'm so over this pregnancy. So I asked him, if I'm on 1 to 2 centimeters dilated, like since yesterday in the morning, what does this mean? When am I going to give birth? Because I'm having a terrible time. These pains are not joking. These pains are terrible. These pains are about to obliterate me, literally. So then he's like, if you're 1 to 2 centimeters dilated, you might give birth in the next 2 days. I'm like, it's Thursday. I've been in labor since Tuesday. It's actually Friday morning because it's 3 a.m., 13 September. And I'm like, what? In the next 2 days? So it means I'm going to be here over the weekend? Oh my gosh. So then I'm like, I'm now stressed because I'm like, these pains, like, and here's the thing, there's nothing you can do about labor contractions, especially at 1 to 2 centimeters dilated. So I'm thinking of things that I saw on Google, Instagram, TikTok. I'm now thinking of epidural. I'm like, can't you give me an epidural? Doctor is like, you watch too much social media. Just shut up and listen to those pains. So I'm like, oh. So at 4 a.m., the pains get, okay, well, not they don't go away, but they're not as bad as they've been. So at 4 a.m., I take my toiletries and I go take a shower. I bath. And also, I'm bathing in warm water because apparently when you're in labor, try to go into warm water and all of that. Social media, I tell you. So then I go and take a very warm bath. I finish at like 5 in the morning. And then when I finish, like I'm ready to start the day. Another day of contractions and no dilation. I don't understand. At 5 a.m., the nurse comes and then she's like, I'm going to do a dilation check on you and then we'll take it from there. And then so she does the dilation check on me. I'm still 1 to 2 centimeters dilated. So she gives me this other, she sedates me, guys. She gives me this other injection that's going to sedate me, like that's going to knock me out. And I ask her, why are you sedating me? And then she's like, because your body is not dilating, but the pains, I can see the pains are about to take you out the game, girl. And I'm like, you smart. You're smart. So then she sedates me and I go to sleep. In less than 15 minutes, I was out, gone. I wake up at around 7. No, I wake up at 8 a.m. So 3 hours of, guys, the best 3 hours sleep of my life. I'm telling you. No pains. I didn't feel nothing, guys, because I was out. I was gone. So then at 8 a.m., I wake up. Wait. So then I wake up at 8. I actually get woken up by the doctor. I didn't wake up by myself. The doctor woke me up because like I said, I was out. That sedation took me out. So then the doctor wakes me up. This time it was a female doctor because it's a new day. That one, his shift is over or something. So the female doctor comes and then she does a dilation check, and then I'm 2 centimeters dilated. Just 2, not 1 to 2. I'm 2 centimeters dilated. And then she's like, go to sleep and then I'll wake you up in a few hours, in like an hour or so. So then I go back to sleep. Guys, my body didn't even wait for her to come wake me up. I got woken up by the worst contractions, probably the second worst contractions of my labor, my entire time in labor. So I woke up and then the nurse called the doctor to come get a dilation check. The doctor came back, dilation check, I was 5 centimeters dilated. And I'm like, thank God. I thank the heavens for that. So then I was 5 centimeters, like at least a little bit of progress. Maybe I'll give birth by my Saturday nyana. Cool. So then I was 5 centimeters dilated, and then now I had non-stop contractions. My contractions were, I think, about 7 minutes apart. Yeah, my contractions were about 7 minutes apart. So every 7 minutes, I would have a contraction. So I tried eating just to distract myself from this pain. Tried eating. Whenever I try to eat, I feel like vomiting. And then at around 8 a.m., was it 8? No. At around 8:30. So the doctor was doing the final rounds of dilation checks in the ward. Well, it was the final round. I'm saying final round because that was the last dilation check I got. So it's around 8:30. I'm having the most terrible contractions of my life. And then, guys, I tell the doctor, I'm like, doctor, I don't feel well at all. And then he's like, get out of that bed and stand still, like stand up straight. So then I stand up straight and I can't, something is, oh, my back. And then I'm like, doctor, I swear to God, if you don't do something about me right now, I'm going to do the number 2 on this bed. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I feel like doing the number 2, girl. Like, she was like, what? No, it was a male doctor. He was like, what? I'm like, I'm gonna do the number 2. I feel like doing the number 2. He's like, okay, I'm taking you to delivery. I took my things. He took me to the delivery room. And in the delivery room, guys, when I tell you it was just me and the midwife. When I tell you, see in the movies, we see 5, 6, 7 doctors and nurses helping one woman push out a baby. When I tell you in that delivery room, it's just me and the midwife. The midwife did a final dilation check, and then she's like, you are 10 centimeters dilated, my darling. Your body is ready to evict the stranger out of your stomach. I was like, thank God. Thank God. And so from 8:30 to 8, let's say 45, I didn't know. I don't have any memory of that, because I was going through it. I don't know, hey, I actually don't know what was happening with me. I don't have any memory of 8:35 until 8:30 until 8:45 rather. I remember pushing the baby out. I remember telling the midwife, I was like, sister, I can't push this baby. And then she's like, yes, you can. And I'm like, I can't. And she's like, you see the muscles you use to do your number 2? Just pretend you're doing the number 2 and that baby's gonna get out. Oh, guys, did I not push? I pushed for the first time. I was like, I can't do this. She's like, if you can't do it, I don't know what you mean, because your body can't do it. It's like, push for the second time. I pushed for the second time, guys. She's like, I have your baby's hair over here. If you push for the last time, you are a mother. I pushed for the third time and I heard a cry, guys. Yo, I'm not gonna cry. But after that, guys, my daughter was born. Did I not cry after that? Did I not cry after that? Like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe my body just did that. Like, I was, wow. Till today, I'm shocked at what my body did at that delivery room. So then the baby's umbilical cord was cut. Then she showed me the baby's a girl. I'm like, okay, so I have a new bestie. So I gave birth to baby Kiwo, guys. I'm not gonna cry. I promise I'm not gonna cry. Yeah, so I gave birth, and then that was it for my birth story. So then I was taken to postnatal. Postnatal is where you basically there with other ladies that just gave birth. So I got my postnatal ward bed. You can't leave the hospital for as long as your baby hasn't done the number 2. And what else? Oh, and also you have to breastfeed in front of the nurse, just so they know that you can breastfeed and your baby is actually feeding properly. So then that's what I did. The baby did the number 2. I called my mom, like, Ma, come pick me up. I'm not coming back to this place again. So my mom picked me up, and guys, and that was it. I gave birth to the most beautiful baby girl in the world, the sweetest baby girl in the world. She doesn't, guys, this person is the least problematic person ever in my entire life, like in the world even. She doesn't wake up 5, 6, 7 times a night crying. No, guys, she's such an angel. She's such an angel. So before we start crying and it gets very, very emotional and all of that, that is it for my pregnancy, labor, and birth story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please do let me know what you think of this. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to put them in the comment section below. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share the video with your friends and your uncle and your everybody. And please do recommend this video to pregnant mothers, mothers who just gave birth, people trying to get pregnant, people who like pregnancy content and all of that. So I think that is it. Thank you guys for tuning in once again. Please don't forget, we are on our way to 100 subscribers. Please do help me get there. I'd really, really, really appreciate it. So this marks the end of our video for today. I will definitely meet you in the next video very, very soon.
Every time I try to leave, something keeps pulling me back, me back.